Edem, why would you describe this 24-hour economy as a game changer? Convince us. We're listening to you, sir.
Moro, let me use the opportunity to first thank President Mahama and the entire government for the alacrity with which the team worked on coming out with this very comprehensive 24-hour economy program. I have met members of the committee that worked, or the team that worked, led by the one and only Guse Tano. And the depth, the structures, and the ideas that they have put together in this document, for me, it is the beginning of Ghana's industrialization agenda. We have moved from the era where politicians make political promises, campaign promises, and when they get power, they find ways and means of adding more terminologies and slogans without the real manifestation of these policies on the lives of the people. Moro, the 24-hour economy, as launched yesterday, is truly the game changer. And I am happy that my constituency, I am happy that my region, the Volta region, features prominently in the agenda of the 24-hour economy.
It's going to play a critical role, eh?
And every district in this country will benefit. Let me tell you how government intends to ensure that the policy gets to every home, every district across this country. Recently, the Ministry of Finance approved this year's allocation to the District Assembly Common Fund. As DACF made further allocations to each district, we were given guidelines on how to spend the money.
Okay.
And 25% of the Common Fund is dedicated to building what we call the 24-hour markets.
Okay.
My commentary on this may sound premature, letting the cat out of the bag, but I have seen the designs of the 24-hour markets. And so when you see something like Fund 24, which talks about expanding financial services, credit access, and inclusion, these 24-hour markets that we will build in our various districts and municipalities will also include spaces for the realization of these credit assets. So the Women's Development Bank, for example, will have a space in there in our district markets. So in my constituency, we have chosen Joje for that 24-hour market. And my MCE, the Honorable Martin Amenaki, is already working hard to get the engineers and the land preparation, everything, as soon as possible will start. And we will have that 24-hour market. And so when we talk about credit access, it is not just a terminology or a slogan that remains at the top here in Accra, but the women, the traders in and around my constituency will be able to have access because they will have office spaces in that 24-hour market. And so we are decentralizing this whole national economic agenda because we believe that the people are our strength and the people must be empowered. Bro, the 24-hour economy promise and the program's implementation is in line with Article 36 of our Constitution, which speaks about the nation or the state taking steps to ensure that the national economy is managed in such a manner as to maximize the rate of economic development. And it goes on and on. So what we are doing is in line with Article 36 of our Constitution.
Okay.
What will the 24-hour economy do different? And these are the questions I want to answer on your show this morning. The first one is that, Moro, the 24-hour economy will provide a structured recalibration of our economy. In the past, various ministries and agencies embarked on different industrialization and different policies in their various sectors that sometimes are not even well coordinated. But what 24-hour Economy Secretariat is doing is that it is providing a guideline for short-term, medium-term, and long-term development of our national economy. Because you and I agree that the structure of our economy is fundamentally the reason why it is difficult for us to make the needed progress. Because as we speak, for an economy that is largely dependent on imports, your currency will not be stable. And it is difficult to make any real economic progress and expand the economy such that you can employ. Because when you are using only GDP, you know GDP is gross. So even what multinationals accumulate here is added to your GDP. And that is why we have a country where your GDP can see significant increase or improvement. And yet, when you reduce it to the quality of life of the average Ghanaian, they are not feeling the impact. Why? Because much of the production or the economy is not even owned by the good people of Ghana themselves. Always it's about import, that even things we can produce here. But the 24-hour economy seeks to provide a structured path where we are driving or journeying towards self-sufficiency. And so you have agriculture as a key pillar. Take smart agriculture. And government has already started by providing the needed support, needed support to farmers this afternoon under the Ghana Feed Program, which also feeds into the 24-hour economy program, especially the Grow 24 program. Farmers in my constituency will be receiving fertilizers. And it is not just limited to my constituency, it is spread across. And so you have an economic program that encapsulates every sector of the economy. And so we are driving real change in the life of the ordinary Ghanaian through this policy. And I am very impressed with the 8 key pillars, because we cannot talk about industrialization without a focus on agriculture. So the Grow 24 program, which seeks to provide tech-enabled farming across the country, will help improve our agriculture yield. And more, I tell people that when you go to countries, advanced economies like the USA, just about 3% of their population are in agriculture. You know that?
Yeah.
But they produce enough. And the volumes are different. But when you come to our part of the country, you have many people in agriculture. And yet, what we produce is not, because farmers are still depending on rainfall. There is no all year round farming, no tech support for farming. And so, last year, for example, many farmers suffered because their farms got destroyed due to the drought.
Yeah.
So even in some part of the northern region or northern Ghana, government had to make special provisions to support farmers whose farms got destroyed because of the drought. But government has already begun what we call Irrigation for Wealth program as part of the Ghana Feed program or Feed Ghana program, as part of the Grow 24 program, that is a key pillar in the 24-hour economy. So you can see that all the activities of the various agencies and ministries are interconnected with what this 24-hour economy agenda seeks to achieve. Number 2 is job creation. Moro, this business of governments providing tabletop jobs to the youth, the NAPCOs and co, I think that we have to get to the point where we move away from that. Government is seeking to provide 1.7 million sustainable jobs to young people through the 24-hour economy. Because throughout the value chain, even in agriculture and other sectors, the 24-hour economy focuses on inclusive employment. And some government agencies have already started running the 24-hour service. DVLA, under the leadership of Julius Nikwe Kote Logas, as I call him, started. When you go to their dental office, they have one of their new offices dedicated for 24-hour service. So you get there at 1 a.m., 12 midnight, and you are able to access the services of DVLA. On the 1st of July, a few days ago, the Tema Port started running the 24-hour service. What it means is that more people will be employed because people are going to be working in shifts. But the most beautiful part of this is that government is telling us that beyond the public sector or the public service institutions, the focus is on providing incentives and support to the private sector. And as we speak, we are told that about 25 private sector companies have applied to be enrolled on this 24-hour economy program because of the incentives that they could get. Now, when that happens, these companies will now be able to employ almost 3 times their current numbers. What else can we ask for than a government that provides sustainable jobs? The defense minister and the minister for national security also mentioned that because of the 24-hour economy and the fact that even private sector and public institutions are beginning to run 24-hour services, they have made enough provision for increment in the enrollment of security personnel so that they will have enough men on duty around our cities, our districts, to ensure that nightlife is well protected. So, Moro, when you look at the documents, this for me should be a blueprint for development beyond the present Mahama administration.
I'm told it's actually binding.
It must.
On future governments.
And I'm happy that it's going to bind on future governments, so that we don't have a situation where a new government comes in with a senior minister who is over 80 years and who says that because I am old, I don't want to implement, or I will not accept a document that defines 40 years development plan, but we want things that are short term. So that's what we saw in the past. What happened to the 40-year development plan of the National Development Planning Commission? What did the senior minister say about it? He says he doesn't believe in it. But what we have here is a program that will catapult this country to the next level. Look at Make 24, which is to allow or enable 24/7 manufacturing to boost production and exports. Look at Connect 24 to provide and ensure that reliable energy, digital and transport is available. Look at Aspire 24, which seeks to drive continuous workforce development and youth training. And we are already seeing that in part of the programs that the NYA, the YEA, and the NEIP are already implementing. Bro, I want to plead with the people of Ghana that there comes a time where we must all jettison our partisan political views and support a good program for the growth of this nation. There comes a time, and this is the moment where we all have to rally around President Mahama and the entire government so that we see the successful implementation of this 24-hour economy program.
Okay.
For me, it is a game changer. It is the right time to take off. And I am confident that in 4 years tomorrow, when we sit to analyze the 24-hour economy, everyone, including the pessimists and doubting Thomases like Ishak, will be applauding President Mahama and the NDC for this national
propaganda master.
Oh, this can't be propaganda. This is a blueprint.
How do you know I'm a pessimist?
for development. I know you and your stock. Thank you, bro.
I have a number of questions.